joining us again, and we're excited to share our sailing journey with you. Thank you for being patient. We know you've been waiting since September for another video to come out, so we've decided that we'd like to go back to the beginning at this point and start from the once upon a time of the story.
Right.
And kind of give you a little bit of background about us and how we grew up and how we met and how we decided that we want to buy a boat and travel on it.
Yeah, and what's kind of odd is we have taken pictures and videos and things like this through this whole journey. We are at, what's our date today?
December 23, 2025.
Yeah, and so when we thought about this, we thought we were going to document the whole journey and the whole process, the good, the bad, the evil, the highs and the lows of it all. And we thought that we would be able to film and upload videos along the way, but as we later found out after we started the process, that we really didn't have a lot of time to figure out how to actually edit video and how to put all this content together, which we have to give it to those people that did it from the very beginning. That's an amazing job that you guys have done. But yeah, we're just trying to muscle our way through, and Melissa is going to be doing most of the video editing and stuff. So you have that uphill climb of learning those processes and the programs and stuff to do that. So anyhow, so along the way, we've just been shooting all this stuff and talking about it, but we haven't had the ability to take you back to when we first started shooting this and how we came up with the idea and where we came from and our backgrounds, and so you can kind of get some sense in who we are and where we come from and these decision processes that we went through. You may be contemplating yourself, or you may just find it interesting to watch. And so we want to be able to share that stuff with you, but we're going to have to reel you back several years. And this is where it's kind of tough to say, oh, we're in 2025 or 2026 now, coming up, and now we got to go back to, how far back?
Well,
2020.
we have to go back to 2021, 2022. That's about when we
started
first decided and started making plans. So
yeah, we were working towards something
rewind.
back then. We weren't 100% sure at first what we were working towards, and then we got on some sailboats and that started making the picture clear for us.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, we are going to rewind us back to the beginning.
All right, here we go. Water and beaches have always been a big part of both of our lives. I grew up in Michigan, and we lived in Holland, which is right on the shore of Lake Michigan, and so my parents and I spent a lot of time at the Lake Michigan beach in the summer, and a lot of times we would go camping there. You could camp right on the beach, so that was like my favorite week every summer was when we were camping out at the beach. And then when I got to be a teenager, we started going from Michigan to Anna Maria Island, Florida for spring break, and every year we would spend spring break on the beach in Anna Maria, and so that was a really cool time, and I fell in love with the ocean. So eventually, in I think 2006, I moved to Florida with my kids, and we've lived near the Gulf of Mexico ever since. And I really love being able to go walk on the beach and just spend time out by the water.
Well, sort of similar with my story. I originally was from Miami. My father was always involved in like scuba diving and teaching divers in different situations. So he had moved us, all of us kids. So in our case, we had 7 kids, and he moved us to the country to live near my grandparents, who lived on a river, one of the biggest rivers in Florida. So they built a house, and we grew up on the river. So there, it was all about going out in the boats and fishing and water skiing and a little bit of snorkeling, but mainly just being on the water. My uncle and aunt lived near us, and they also had a big saltwater boat, and so we would go out and go fishing and pull up to beaches and cook our catch out there on the beach on a grill, and just really have a good time. My parents also had an RV that they actually made out of a Greyhound bus, and for all of us kids, and we traveled all over the country, and I really enjoyed camping.
My parents bought a small motorhome when I was about 7, I think, and so we would every summer take trips different places around the U.S. And so in 2011 we met and we started dating. Our first date was at a beach. We took a walk on a beach together and then had dinner at a little restaurant right near the water. And I realized right away that we had a lot in common, that we both loved the beach and the ocean and swimming and doing things outdoors, especially that revolved around the beach. So we spent a lot of time on the beach at the Gulf of Mexico and just by ourselves and with our kids. And in 2014, we got married out on Anna Maria Island on the beach.
Of course.
And so then we became a blended family. And at that time, when we got married, our kids ranged from age 9 to 20. I have 2 and Ted has 3. Every year we tried to take at least one vacation with the kids out at the beach
Several
so that we could
throughout the summer.
share our love of the beach with them.
Yeah, and the water, I've had boats and my whole life, actually. My first boat was 11 years old. It was just a little john boat with a little kicker motor, and later had other boats. And then together we had a boat, and so we'd go out on the boat sometimes. And so that's how we ended up loving the idea of being around the water.
And for our honeymoon, we took a Caribbean cruise.
Right. And we actually, over the years, we went on several Caribbean cruises, and we got a chance to see places all over the Caribbean, which we really enjoyed. Did some nice snorkeling type adventures. We wanted to get away from the crowds. We weren't a big fan of a whole bunch of crowds and go in with the whole groups of people. And so we grab our own snorkel gear and beach towels and rent a scooter or a Jeep or something and take off to some other part of the island where none of the tourists were around, and just have a lot of fun in our own adventures.
The worst part about the cruises, though, was that you only got to stay in a place for one day, and we wanted to stay a lot longer and really get to explore and meet people and find out what each place was all about. And so that was another deciding factor of us
Also
wanting to travel on a boat.
right, we ended up managing an RV dealership, and we ran that for a few years.
And when we worked at the RV dealership, being in and out of RVs all the time kind of led us to start talking about possibly getting an RV, maybe even after the kids had moved out of the house and traveling. So that was something that we had kept in the back of our minds for quite a while. But then we started thinking about the places that we really wanted to visit, and most of the places that we would want to visit and spend a lot of time are on the water. So
Yeah, it was funny because we would look at campgrounds, and the campgrounds that you can park near a beach or be by the beach were the ones that we were the most intrigued about. And so then COVID hit, and we spent a lot of time at home. Our business pretty much came to a halt for a while, and we started looking at some YouTube channels just to entertain ourselves. And I ran across a couple of YouTube channels, and it seemed intriguing about sailing, though I don't have a lot of sailing experience. It just seemed pretty adventurous to be able to just motor out, put your sails up, and it's kind of like an RV in a way on the water, which I'm familiar with boats, but not familiar with all the rigging that's involved in sailing and how that works. We started thinking about it more often, and the possibilities of, okay, when we get to the point where we can get things paid down or paid off, could we actually transition to something like that and literally get away from the bills of home ownership, having some sources of income, but being able to do some income off grid with all of a sudden Starlink came around, and the idea that you can work a little bit from wherever you're at and go anywhere. And so that all started becoming a part of the whole idea and decision process.
the more we watched sailing channels on YouTube, a lot of them were really inspirational for us and really made us want to minimize what we had and get to the point where we could fit our lives onto a live-aboard sailboat and travel. So we've been working towards that for probably about 4 years now.
I had some background on working on things from a little bit with my grandfather, learning how tools and stuff like that, and then fixing my own stuff and fixing my own boats. I was in the Navy. I was a sonar and electronics technician, and you had to learn all these different systems. And so just over the years, working on different things, working on systems in RVs and stuff. And so the bottom line is we decided that I have the know-how and the fix-it things, and we both had the adventure bug.
We're at the the end of the spectrum where our kids are basically on their own and we're empty nesters now. So we have a window of time where we hope we'll be able to get some traveling in.
Yeah, we have this window that we decided on where the kids are finally gone. You know, we've been working on paying all of our bills, also living small and saving.
We've been trying to save our money so that it could go into the boat to further this lifestyle that we're trying to work
Right.
toward here.
Melissa kept, pushing us to where this is something that we have been thinking about, and we'll literally be bored just sitting here and not going out and living our best life, or what we dreamed about doing.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. Please join us next time as we downsize our stuff and prepare to sell our house. And start looking at sailboats.